Chapter 1. The Transformation. There was nothing unusual about the boy, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, except perhaps that he was very, very shy. He had no unusual talents, and went through school as a somewhat less than average student, self-conscious and serious, deeply devoted to his parents, and only vaguely aware of anything outside the quiet seaside town of his birth. It was the end of the 19th century, when the British Empire, at the peak of its wealth and power, extended around the world. India was in its second century of British domination. I was born at Popandar, otherwise known as Sudamapuri, on the 2nd of October, 1869. I passed my childhood at Popandar. I recollect having been put to school. It was with some difficulty that I got through the multiplication tables. The fact that I recollect nothing more of those days than having learnt, in company with other boys, to call our teacher all kinds of names, would strongly suggest that my intellect must have been sluggish and my memory raw. I used to be very shy and avoided all company. My books and my lessons were my sole companions. To be at school at the stroke of the hour and to run back home as soon as the school closed, that was my daily habit. I literally ran back because I could not bear to talk to anybody. I was even afraid lest anyone should poke fun at me. Moreover, I was a coward. I used to be haunted by the fear of thieves, ghosts, and serpents. I did not dare to stir out of doors at night. Darkness was a terror to me. It was almost impossible for me to sleep in the dark, as I would imagine ghosts coming from one direction, thieves from another, and serpents from a third. I could not, therefore, bear to sleep without a light in the room. At the age of 13, while he was still in high school, Gandhi was married. It was, he wrote later, a preposterously early age. But Kasturbai was an attractive girl, and Gandhi quickly learned the role of a passionate, jealous, and exacting husband. Both children had a will and temper of their own, and the marriage had its stormy side from the start. In Gandhi's youthful mind, he was her teacher. Later he would realize that by her own forbearing example, it was she who had been teaching him. Her patience, her strength, her capacity to endure and forgive must have taken root deep within him during those early years, not to blossom until his campaigns in South Africa several years to come. I must say I was passionately fond of her. Even at school I used to think of her, and the thought of nightfall and our subsequent meeting was ever haunting me. Separation was unbearable. I used to keep her awake till late at night with my idle talk. How could I disclose my fears to my wife, no child, but already at the threshold of youth, sleeping by my side? I knew that she had more courage than I, and I felt ashamed of myself. She knew no fear of serpents and ghosts. She could go out anywhere in the dark. Gandhi graduated from high school with a mediocre average and went doggedly on to college. He had some vague ambition to become a doctor, but it was never to be realized. He failed in every class. Each subject seemed impossible to follow, and he felt acutely out of place wherever he turned. After 5 months of consistent failure, he withdrew from school and came back home. He had not the slightest idea of where to turn. An uncle came to his rescue. Gandhi, he suggested, should go to London to study law. It took only 3 years to become a barrister, and a London degree in British India seemed certain to bring success. Reluctantly, for they were very close, his mother gave her consent. The expenses came to more than anyone had guessed. At last, Kasturbai had to sell her jewellery to buy the ticket, and Gandhi's older brother gave his promise to pay the rest.